So, just an aside, one of my org mates, who is also a Steam friend, sent me a message and said, "I see that you're playing a kids game. What's the appeal?" And my reply was very simple. The books and the movies, just like the games, follow the adventures of young witches and wizards who attend a school for the magically inclined. Despite your character being a young adult, I never felt the story or the themes presented anywhere within this franchise are meant for kids, because the franchise is actually pretty dark and quite mature. Stick around as I review what turned out to be a really great experience, which would have been even better if I was a larger fan of Harry Potter to begin with. As I later found out, if you're a fan, you call yourself a Potterhead. Hello YouTubers, this is noobifier. Hogwarts Legacy was gifted to me shortly after it came out. I was eventually going to play it, but when my friend's daughter heard about it, she became super interested to play and stream here in the studio. Her absolute interest and investment in everything Harry Potter made me consider that perhaps I should take a deeper look sooner and actually give it a try. I had seen all of the movies when they were released. I remembered the basic themes, but that was some time ago, and it wasn't really paying attention to a lot of the finer details. I remembered that there were different houses in the school. I remembered Slytherin was one of them, mainly because it was made up of all the naughty kids, and I found that to be really funny. It will take you about 40 hours to push through the main story, and before I began this review process for you, I thought it would only be appropriate to achieve 100% on all quests, collectibles, achievements, and to max out at level cap of 40. This took me over 72 hours, and I now feel fully qualified to publish this review. If I were to describe Hogwarts Legacy, I would say it's a single-player story-driven narrative, an RPG where you play the central character in the story. There are some regular tropes. You are the prodigy or the chosen one, and you end up being the hero who saves the world with the help of in-game characters that fill out the story that you meet along the way. This narrative works very, very well as a video game with a lot of moving parts and a lot of things for you to do. The story and player difficulty are well balanced, and this balance is preserved well as you rank up. The little tutorial at the start is seamlessly woven into the prologue. You can skip at any time by holding right mouse for a second, and this is critical if you plan to perform a second or third playthrough, or if at that specific moment you simply don't care about what's going on. The game never crashed on me. The autosave feature preserves frustration, as death ends up being a minor 1-minute setback instead of sending you all the way back to the start of any level. Even as a non-fan of Harry Potter, I was truly impressed by the content. The school, Hogwarts Castle, is huge. It's detailed inside and out and brought to life by hundreds of students, faculties, ghosts, cats, and of course, even the creepy pictures on the wall. Exploration here rewards with each painting or statue having some purpose or backstory, something that ties it back to the movies or books. There are hidden rooms, Easter eggs, dungeons, curiosity, and spectacle. All of these serve in some form to move the story along, and many of these have hidden guide pages who also reward. Collecting these unlocks XP and gear to help you deal with the increasing combat difficulty. Having various rooms in the castle and out elsewhere locked off keeps you on track, but it also means that you will have a reason to come back. I was so excited to finally learn how to pick locks because it meant that I could actually see what was behind the doors that I'd seen earlier. There was constantly something to do both on the main missions and the side quests. All of these activities had some sort of payoff that helped me. I never played this type of quick-time finger dance mechanic. Your success depends on clicking the right keys at the right time, and this did take some time to get used to. Battles can be isolated and small or done as part of a larger side quest that ramps up and ends up with a boss fight. To beat the boss, you really need to take note of how they attack. You need to learn the dance, learn the sequence that lets you avoid taking huge damage while bringing the boss's health pool to 0. I play on PC, so my controls were WASD and mouse to look around, space is jump, control is dodge or roll, Q is Protego, which is your defensive skill. Holding Q will also execute Stupefy, which sends an enemy's attack back to them. When it works, it's massively satisfying. You have button 1 through 4, and these are your spell hotkeys. You can unlock 4 pages of hotkeys that can be cycled through with the mouse wheel. The spells are color-coded based on the type, and this is a big part of combat, and I'm going to discuss a little bit more later. I found getting used to this type of combat to be totally foreign to me, and I wasn't initially very good at it. I was hitting the wrong key at the right time, taking too much damage, and I really found it to be difficult to enjoy. As I got more invested in the game, all of it made more sense. I got better at hitting Q on time to shield when I saw an orange warning, and I started to hit control to dodge on time when I saw the red warning. Protected enemy have color-coded shields. Using a red spell on an enemy who's shielded yellow is a complete waste of time, so it's important to order your spell sets so you have them ready to go, usually with one red, one yellow, and one purple per page. Your character is the prodigy and in touch with ancient magic. This is a rare gift, and you seem to be the only living person on the planet who has it. You accumulate ancient magic when doing attack combos, and killing an enemy will drop a glowing blue orb that can be collected mid-combat to replenish this. Stacked ancient magic can be spent to perform very strong attacks, and as the story progresses, you can store even more, allowing you to perform back-to-back strong attacks. Use this when you're in a fight with 8 or 10 enemy to quickly make things more manageable. As you level up, you will acquire stronger spells, your gear protects you better, your base attack performs more damage, but you will also face stronger opponents as you venture further from Hogwarts and Hogsmeade. I'm focusing a lot on combat very early in the review, and it's certainly not the only thing. There are games and puzzles that require thought and skill. The story, and specifically the world building of Harry Potter universe, is really quite dark, as I said, and very mature. Your teachers often joke about very dangerous or deadly things that can or have happened in previous classes. Students that have literally failed classes because they literally didn't survive a lesson. In herbology, you're introduced to a chomping cabbage, which is used as an offensive aid in combat. The teachers here casually joke about how a student had lost a hand last year because they didn't take the class very seriously, and no one seems to give a shit. And I think this darkness is quite hilarious. The staff, students, and vendors are all super cheery and have a very positive outlook. Their politeness is contrasted by the very serious theme that magic and being magical is very dangerous. Everyone knows and accepts that magic is dangerous, and it's never an issue as a student because you're just expected to be responsible for it. You're treated like an adult with the immense power. History, science, and prepares the students for adulthood just like normal. But this school and its faculty also teaches its students potions, spells, and magic. What is taught ranges from practical enchantment all the way to spells that will flat out murder whatever you cast it on. Not just killing, but also by combining what you're taught, you increase your effectiveness. Turn an enemy to ice with one spell and then hit them immediately with a fireball. In this game, this brutal combination isn't sugar-coated at all. Your enemy explodes to their death in 1,000 meaty shards. Based on the narrative, you are reminded that your teachers were at some point students. Their teachers prepared them for life, and when everything and everyone has power, the risk and danger is evident. In this school, it's just normal to perfect every spell taught, not only for defense, but for offense, as that might be needed someday. Nobody in this universe seems to be shocked or surprised that your young character has killed hundreds of creatures, goblins, and other non-muggles on your various side quests. It's just part of the brutal universe, and I never got the sense that this game was in any way pulling punches to cater to a more juvenile audience. There are several types of enemies. You have creatures in the form of nasty wolves, the undead, and giant spiders. There is a nearly limitless band of poachers made up of human witches and wizards. Everyone just thinks of them as the most dishonorable and despicable pieces of crap in the society, so nobody has anything to say if you just kill them. There is a nearly limitless band of bad goblins who are also dishonorable vermin who can be dispatched at will without consequence. All poachers are bad because they are mistreating the defenseless beasts near Hogwarts. Their leader poses a general threat, and in general, it's seen as okay that anyone is associated with him is just kill on sight. The same goes for the goblin leader and his followers who also have a dangerous agenda. No spoilers, but your hero's journey is in direct opposition to these threats that are presented to you. As you become stronger, the story unfolds and the challenges keep pace. The gameplay was never boring and nothing was ever seen as a waste of my time. Side quests resulted in more world building, but also in better gear or a new spell to test out. On the subject of side quests, I need to discuss crafting, collecting, and gear. Eventually, you'll be able to create your own potions and upgrade your own gear. This requires items that you collect when exploring the world, and these can be bought from vendors, they can be harvested from your collected beasts, and they can also be grown. None of these game mechanics were tedious, and all of your efforts pay off in better gear. For all of this to happen, you have to have your own room of requirement, which can be completely outfitted, decorated, and adjusted to your taste. As you unlock more objectives, you unlock more decorative items for this room, which is fun and rewarding. You get the help from key NPCs along the way, which is great. Professor Fig is with you throughout the story and guides you very near the start. You have the Professor of Dark Arts, Potions, Beasts, Flight, Herbology, Muggle Studies, each set challenges for you to achieve. Fellow students also drive the narrative, and several may join you on many quests that add to the backstory. This really helps to keep the world three-dimensional and very complete. I never found any dialogue to be cheesy or poorly presented. I have and will continue to keep this spoiler-free simply by saying characters speak and act in a manner that's appropriate to the situation and story, which is refreshing. Voice acting and dialogue are top-notch, and each are separated by unique personality and goals. Most importantly, each backstory and how the character behaves are perfectly in sync. You're never left confused by how your NPC friend reacts or when they say something, because this was expertly mapped out during the development. Once you've traveled to a location on the map, you can quickly travel there, and this is a huge time saver. You eventually gain access to your own broom, where students might challenge you to beat their times, and this is of course a great way to dart across the map, and you get to use the broom to solve some physical puzzles quickly. When in flight, pressing R for Revelio will apply icons for key locations and challenges. You'll eventually gain the ability to capture, store, breed, and sell magical beasts, which is its own complete minigame. You're able to feed these and harvest fur or feathers to be used in potions, thus saving money. Throughout your main story playthrough, you travel further from Hogwarts, where there are increasing risks, but you're never too far from a quaint hamlet with friendly faces. If I get any more detailed, I'm going to begin to spoil the game. I avoided watching streams and videos before I played, and I was extremely grateful when big events happened in-game because I got to enjoy them the way that they were meant to be. Being magical is magical. Playing is addictive. As you become stronger, you feel more powerful playing. I got enjoyment and entertainment out of my playtime in Hogwarts Legacy. I was thinking about a second playthrough perhaps in a year, maybe if they release some DLC. 70 hours is already quite an investment, and I highly recommend that you invest it yourself. Thoughtfully created by a team who fully respect the canon and lore. Pure fan service at every corner, with details and references that will be familiar. 10 out of 10, and I don't say that lightly. If you've made it to the end, it's appreciated. This type of video is fun to produce but represents a massive undertaking. If you got something out of it, please consider sharing with a friend who might be interested, or drop the link in your org's Discord. My goal is to grow, and I can't do that without the support of people like you. Be very careful in the Forbidden Forest, and I will hopefully see you again very soon.